Hello everybody, my name is Mark Mello. I'm a park ranger with Blackstone River Valley National Historical Park, and I'd like to welcome you here to our third Ranger Chat. This episode today is going to be a two-part episode. We're going to cover the first half today, and then we're going to cover the second half next week. But the idea here is something that Ranger Dave Lewis, who's a seasonal park ranger with us, did a walkabout on last year. And that is the idea that the geography and the environment of the Blackstone River Valley affected the humans and the industrial development of the valley. And then also the idea that those humans and the industrial development of the valley in turn affected the environment and the geography of the valley. So this week we're going to focus in on how the geography and the environment of the valley really shaped the Industrial Revolution, and the Blackstone is the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution. And then next week we'll take a look at that second half and see how humans affected the environment as well. So without any further ado, let's jump right into today's topic. Today we're going to discuss how the geography of the Blackstone River Valley affected the industrial development of this area. According to our scientist friends, the story began about 10,000 years ago, as the last ice age came to an end, and the massive glaciers began to recede. These glaciers, which covered this region, had carved what was once a river valley into a glacial valley. As an example, think of the glacier as a snowplow in a pile of snow. Just as the snowplow carves out a clearing in the snow, the ice sheet carved through the river, leaving behind a valley that resembles the shape of the letter U. This left behind a fairly large floodplain, or what could be described as a flat horizontal space where the river resides, with steep hills on either side. In contrast, a river valley is shaped like the letter V. An example of a river valley is the Colorado River. Now think of the different effects of damming off these two different types of valleys. In a river valley, a dam will force the water behind it to build up vertically because the valley is very narrow. Not being able to spread out horizontally, the water is forced upwards. This means dams in river valleys have to be extremely tall. The Hoover Dam is a great example of this, being 726 feet tall. Whereas in a glacial valley, the stagnant water behind the dam can spread out on a horizontal plane rather than being forced up. This means that the average dam in the Blackstone Valley is only about 9 feet tall. Rivers in glacial valleys are much easier to dam off. These dams are critically important. They collect a reservoir of water that can be used even in times of drought, ensuring the mill will have a reasonable source of water nearly all year round. In addition to a wide floodplain, ideal for dams, the Blackstone drops about 440 feet over its 48-mile course. That's an average drop of about 9.5 feet per mile. Again, compare this to the Colorado River, which falls an average of 7.5 feet per mile. This drop is important. As always, I like to remind people, the weight of water is what produces the most power, not the speed of water. In order to capitalize on this potential energy, water has to fall. The weight of water is what spins the water wheel, which in turn produces power. The series of drops along the Blackstone over multiple rapids and waterfalls made it the ideal location for water-powered mills. On the shores of the Pawtucket Falls in 1790, Sam Slater and his partners were able to capitalize on this potential power when they created the first successful water-powered cotton spinning mill in the United States of America. This event is widely accepted as the birth of the American Industrial Revolution. This is how the geography of the valley made this relatively small and seemingly ordinary New England river the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution, and eventually won it the nickname of America's hardest working river. Well, thank you folks for joining us today. Again, be sure to tune in next week at 9 a.m. on Tuesday to find out the second half of the story and to learn how humans and the Industrial Revolution affected the geography and the environment of the Blackstone River Valley. But once again, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and we hope to see you out there along the Blackstone really soon.